welcome back to Warframe. I was going to make this video earlier, and I did record it, but I decided I was a bit too tilted when talking about it, because I get tilted talking about this. So yeah, let's get right into it, now that I'm better mood right now. Riven Market. It's butt, okay? It's terrible. Terrible. It's just bad. It's really bad. Why is it bad? Because it's full of people trying to cheat people out of stuff while also cheating them into buying something that's not valuable. So, what brought this up? Why is this suddenly something I'm talking about? Well, I don't usually sell Rivens. I don't deal with Rivens much. I earn my own Rivens, I roll my own Rivens, I transmute my own Rivens. Occasionally I'll sell a Riven. I don't deal with Rivens much. I buy them once in a while and I have a surplus of plat from selling mods. I sell mods. That's what I do when I make plat. I sell augur secrets and stuff like that. Occasionally weapon sets. But I thought, I got this Pandera Riven I showed you guys, and it's pretty nice. It's a crit damage to Grenier. Almost a G-roll. It's pretty good. And let's talk about what a G-roll is. A G-roll is a Riven that perfectly fits the weapon it's shooting. And that could vary on the weapon stats, the weapon strengths, weaknesses, and the weapon class it fits into. Let's talk about the strengths of classes. Strengths of pistols. When you form them up, they have the best crit mods. Primed crit mods, and they have the most multi-shot by default between Barrel of Fusion and Lethal Torrent, and they got loose builds because Lethal Torrent is so flexible, so usually they have the most space, the most crit, and the most multi-shot. Rifles have cheap crit mods that don't take up much space, and the crit damage mod is really a good value. These are shotgun mods. Shotgun mods have lots of damage options between Blaze and Vicious Spread. And all that stuff. Snipers, just rifles. Melee weapons have condition overload. That's the advantage there. And they have the ability to scale with the more damage you do. That's the advantage of each of those classes mod-wise. Is for melees, scaling and stealth multipliers. Pistols have the best high-end mods for multi-shot and crit. Specifically, shotguns have damage options, and rifles have generally cheaper options. And they got a few specialty mods, which are really nice. So yeah, let's go back into this Pandero. Why is this so good? Well, pistols don't need crit chance, because we have the best crit chance mod in the game, Prime Pistol Gambit, and a really easy to get, really viable secondary crit chance mod called Hydraulic Crosshairs. This is the best way to use this mod, is on headshot effects. This is while aiming, but for the most part you'll be aiming the Pandero and most secondary weapons. They're usually accurate, so you aim them. So Hydraulic Crosshairs, great weapon. Great option. So why is this, what is the weakness of this? It's got a relatively small negative to Grenier, which doesn't really affect anything. I mean, I showed you guys this. This is a fantastic Riven. And with the non-max Prime Pistol Game, this is 2 from the top because it's super expensive, and Hydraulic Crosshairs, we will easily hit, on every headshot, well over 100% crit chance. So, in my opinion, this is about as close as G-roll as it gets. This is up there. In the variability with the percentages, this is very high, and it's just a really good Riven because it fits the weaknesses, which is pistols only have one usable crit damage mod, and it's not very powerful. 90%. Let's go look at the rifle one. Rifle crit damage. Yeah, it's not maxed, but it's not really much cheaper. You can go to rifles and look at Vital Sense. It's 120 by default. Plus, they have the wildly underrated Hammer Shot. You just get more crit damage on rifles. So pistols need crit damage more than crit chance because they don't get as much crit damage, but they get more crit chance. Make sense? So yeah, I was like, I'm going to sell this. It's a good roll. So I wasn't I'm not hard set on selling it. I'm not trying to kill myself over it. But someone got really pissed me off about this. And warning, I'm a little bit toxic in the trade chat. Everyone is. It's the trade chat. I get tilted. I didn't get tilted here. I was just kind of messing with them a little bit, throwing some backyard insults. Let's take a look at this conversation here. It's FMG Trucker. This boy. Let's go over and we'll go. I linked it for him, and he told me it was poo-poo. He said it needs CC, not G-roll. Poop. Call him an MR5. Ooh, MR27. Doubt. I doubt this. I'm going to show you that. I told him he should know better. Pistols have best CC mods. This is simple stuff. 100% crit every time, not sometimes. False. Alright, let's go to a different story. I got offered a Riven for an Ogress. You all know it, like the Ogress, it's a good weapon. I got offered a dual crit, negative, what was it? It was dual crit, the negative that affected it. Oh, projectile flight speed, that's what it was. That was someone who never used the Ogress. The Ogress, if you don't notice, can't scale crit. And it's one of like 5 weapons in this game that actually wants projectile flight speed. One of like 5 weapons. And the other 4 are shotguns. Okay? This is such an essential for this weapon. Okay? Don't get a crit Riven for this thing. It's bad. This Riven, if with a negative, this is a G-roll. Multi-shot damage status chance. That's what you want, because you're building it for gas. And so you want as much damage in multi-shot for as many procs as possible. And then status, so you can get a full status build with only 2 dual stats. This is what you'll hear. Look, this is the full build. We go in here, Vigilante, or you can use freaking, who cares? You get the point, okay? Oh, we don't have split chamber in here. Boom. Right like that. And we can switch these, and we can put in... Can we put in heavy caliber? I won't be able to put in heavy caliber. Yeah, look at that. That's the best build you can get, realistically. That right there. That Riven would destroy this. It would turn this build to mush. Okay, one, your projectile flight speed would be terrible, and your crit chance with a G-roll Riven would be at best 20%. At best. With the base crit mods. You'll get a 20% crit chance, and like a, yeah, you can get a high multiplier, but 20%, that's terrible. For a slow weapon, that's horrible. And there's other weapons too. There's lots of weapons that don't want crit in their Rivens. Boars don't want crits in their Rivens. They want damage multi-shot or something like that. I showed you the Astilla prefers just damage and status. It doesn't really want crit. What else? Ceranos doesn't really care. Just kind of everything's good in the Ceranos. What else? What else? The Lens honestly would prefer other stuff than crit because his crit's already so high. It's just not really worth it. Doesn't really need that much crit. Yeah, there's a bunch of weapons. Tigress, if you were stupid enough to have a Riven for it. Sinoid Simulor. You get the point. There's lots of weapons that don't want crit in their Rivens, okay? That's stupid. Not sometimes, that's bad. Not G-roll, so it's poop. That is such a bad statement, because we've decided that G-roll in this game is something that's perfectly built. The perfect Riven for this freaking gun right here. This one. If it's not the perfect dual crit, multi-shot, negative impact, it's terrible. And yes, that is the best for a standard assault rifle. That is perfect. That is perfect for an assault rifle. But most weapons really don't care about those stats. Either they do so much damage or so much crit, they don't need it, they want utility stuff, or they have specific goals they want, like pistols. They don't need the crit chance. They want crit damage. This weapon in particular doesn't really need it because it's got the high multiplier already. But it wants other stuff. It wants stuff to fit into its build. Crit chance isn't essential. And yes, crit chance is... I'm not saying it's not good on Rivens. I'm just saying it's not essential. You don't need the exact same Riven for every single weapon. One, that's completely ruining the point of Rivens. Rivens is supposed to give you diversity. If we're only hunting for the exact same Rivens and not testing different things, we're ruining the whole point of the system. We're just throwing it out the window, and that's terrible. That's a terrible thing to do, because the Riven system is really fun to mess with. Well, let's go back in and look at the rest of this. I just insulted them. Let's say you probably buy Sniper Rivens for 2K. I stand by. No Riven's worth 2,000 plat. Explain this real quick. The Riven is like the tiniest portion of the 5% final bit of Eidolon hunting. If you don't have a super good squad and a fully geared out frame that fits with your squad, forget Rivens and get the rest of that stuff, and then come back and talk to me. Probably get a Catchman, because Catchman keeps getting nerfed and people keep buying them because they are stupid. And I said, don't have like a spaz. Follow your meta Rivens. Enjoy 60% crit chance. That is the crit chance of the Pandero with the standard crit mod. He claims to just threw it out, but that's the crit chance of the Pandero with a standard crit mod. This is someone who is claiming to be an MR27 and knows what he's talking about, but he doesn't have crit mods, primed crit mods yet, and uses that as his base argument when talking about Rivens. That is amazing. Now, I don't know if he's actually MR5 or whatever, but I don't think he's MR27. he left after that. Didn't want to follow up on the fact that he was 100% wrong in the situation. The ultimate of this thing, what pisses me off so much, is we've just kind of spoiled a good thing. We've ruined a good thing, and we're just keep ruining it more and more. People complain about Rivens because their favorite Rivens get nerfed for their meta weapons. That's the point. Rivens aren't supposed to take your meta weapons and make them better. That's not what they're supposed to do. What they're supposed to do is they're supposed to take your Plinxes and your Vastos and your Furus and your little Bolto Prime and your Despairs. And this is the Brack. Yeah, the Brack is such a good weapon. It's supposed to take that and put it on par. It's supposed to meet that and be as good as that. It's not supposed to take your Meta Lord, Tombfinger, freaking Killstream, Haymaker, and make it one-shot to an even higher level. That's not the point. And because so many of the meta weapons have a really tight build built around hybrid and that want dual crit multi-shot, negative impact, negative puncture, negative zoom, people think that's the best thing for all weapons when it's not. Here's a great example. The Pox, okay? Pox can't scale crit. It physically cannot. It cannot scale crit. And multi-shot isn't good on throwing weapons. Because there's this whole mechanic, we can only have a certain number out at one time, so if you have multi-shot, it's weird. Multi-shot isn't really good in the Pox. What you want is damage, status chance, whatever elemental damage you want, projectile flight speed, that kind of stuff. Even max ammo capacity, because they have a small ammo capacity. That dual crit and multi-shot Riven, that's so good on some things, would be totally worthless on this weapon. And I've seen people try to sell them. Deadass have seen people try to sell dual crit multi-shot Pox Rivens. It makes me want to punch a wall. Because there are new people and they're unexperienced people in the trade chat will just buy them because they hear that's meta, and they're wasting large amounts of plat on people who either know better or who are simply dealing with this stuff without having any idea what they're talking about. And that is infuriating. I know this is kind of just a rant video. I get that. And I don't like doing rant stuff. But this is something that's really annoyed me. I want to deal with a trade chat. I love the idea of a in-game system of dealing with each other. I think that's really cool. But this community has turned it into such a bad... It's taken such a good thing and turned it into such a bad thing. To the point where I don't even want to go... I don't want to go to the trade chat. I don't want to deal with that. It's so disheartening and just uncomfortable to be in there and watch as experienced vets just take new people for granted. Over and over and over and over. Oh, shoot. And over again. It ruins whatever day I have going on with that because I know there's kids falling for this stuff. And I want to put them aside the head and tell them, don't listen to these people. Yes, they have lots of plat, but they have lots of plat because people listen to them about this kind of stuff. And you shouldn't. You should do your own thinking and do your own testing and figure out why it is that, certain Rivens are better. Because as long as we just keep this trend going of using only the exact same thing every time, this isn't going to change. This is not going to change, and the Riven market isn't going to improve. And I know people don't criticize in the way it is, because I get a lot of people have been taking advantage of it for years now. But this is something that's going to drastically affect the game long term. Because at some point, this Riven market's just going to crash. For one way or another. The Kuvo system is terrible in this game. The Riven market's toxic, and it needs a full rework. And this one deal just pissed me off enough that I want to talk about the whole thing. In summary, because this has gone on way longer than I thought it would, get Rivens that fit what you're looking to do with a weapon. If you're looking to make a Pandero that armor strips and or blocks slash and viral, get some status on that bad boy. Get a freaking damage multi-shot status Riven on that thing. That'll be awesome. You know what the Plinx really likes? It really likes negative ammo max. It really likes negative reload speed. It really likes that kind of stuff. Give this thing some crit damage, heat, multi-shot, electricity, You build the points for radiation, so build some electricity and stuff on it. That's awesome. That's really good. The god dang Brack. Just damage. Damage multi-shot with a negative. That's all this thing wants. And you know what? This thing's totally viable with a ribbon. Totally viable. Any weapon is viable with a decent ribbon, except for a tiny handful. So don't go into the market looking for a top tier ribbon. Go into the market, find something cheap, or earn it yourself, and then roll it a bunch till you find something that fits you. One of my all-time favorite ribbons was I had a ribbon for the Prismagorgon, which provided magazine size and punch through. And I made this thing felt amazing for content. Just so good. I've had a Super Vandal, which was mag size and multi-shot. Just spewing bullets everywhere at a stupid scale. I had a... Where is it? I had a... Boar. Mag size, fire rate, reload speed. Negative impact. The most fun ribbon I've ever messed with. Turn this thing into a tactical nightmare. So much fun. We don't need the damage from a G-roll ribbon on a meta weapon. Just do yourself a favor, experiment a little bit, and have some fun with the video game. Because that's what it's all about. Alright, well that's about it. Deuces.